All right, today we're going to talk about a technology that could completely change how we connect to the internet. And it uses something you literally see every single day, but probably never think twice about. We're talking about getting high-speed data from a light bulb. You know the feeling, right? You're trying to stream a movie, hop on a video call, and boom, everything just stops. The problem is we have so many wireless devices now, and they're all fighting for the same little slice of the airwaves. It's a problem experts call the spectrum crunch, and trust me, it's only going to get worse. But what if we could switch to a different kind of wave? One that's everywhere, and one that offers this massive, totally untapped resource for data. Well, get this. The visible light spectrum, yeah, the light our eyes can see, is 10,000 times larger than the entire radio frequency spectrum we use for Wi-Fi and everything else. That is just an incredible amount of space for our data to move around in.
So where is this untapped resource? Well, it's light itself. The very same LED light bulbs lighting up our homes and offices right now can also transmit data. The tech is called Visible Light Communication, or VLC, and it creates a system that does two jobs at once. It gives us light, and it gives us high-speed wireless internet, all from the same device.
Now, what's really fascinating is that sending data on a beam of light is not a new idea at all. Way back in 1880, Alexander Graham Bell, the guy who invented the telephone, created something called the photophone. He actually thought it was his greatest invention. Now, let's fast forward to our century. The invention of the LED has brought this idea roaring back to life, especially after Professor Harold Haas coined the catchy term Li-Fi, as in light fidelity. So how in the world do you actually turn a boring old light bulb into a data transmitter? Well, the concept is actually beautiful in its simplicity. Let's break it down. The magic here is all thanks to the humble LED, the light-emitting diode. See, unlike those old incandescent bulbs with a glowing wire, an LED is a semiconductor. And what that really means is it's basically a tiny electronic switch. And this right here is the key. An LED can be switched on and off millions or heck, even billions of times per second. That's just insanely faster than any physical switch you can imagine. And that high-speed flicker is what unlocks its potential for communication. Now you might be thinking, a flickering light? That sounds awful. But here's the thing. This flickering is so ridiculously fast that it's completely invisible to the human eye. To us, the light just looks like it's on, nice and steady. But to a special detector, it's a non-stop stream of information. So how does this flicker become a language? Well, the simplest way is something called on-off keying. Just think of it like Morse code, but on steroids. When the light is on, that's a digital 1. When the light is off, that's a 0. You do that millions of times a second, and you're beaming a stream of binary data right through the air. But wait, it gets even cooler. With the RGB LEDs we have today, we can use a more advanced trick called color shift keying. So instead of just on and off, data gets encoded in tiny, subtle shifts between red, green, and blue light. This lets us pack way more information into the signal, pushing speeds into the gigabits per second range. Okay, so let's put this head-to-head with the Wi-Fi we all know. The differences are pretty stark. VLC uses that massive, totally unlicensed light spectrum, and its biggest security feature? It's just physics. Light doesn't go through walls, so your network is physically trapped in the room. Plus, it can't be messed with by radio interference, and we could build it into the lights we already have. All right, so this isn't just some lab experiment. These advantages open up a whole new world of possibilities, especially in places where normal Wi-Fi just doesn't cut it. Imagine a top-secret military briefing or a corporate boardroom discussing a merger. With VLC, the network is literally contained by the walls of the room. There's no signal leaking out for someone to snoop on from the parking lot. It's incredibly secure by design. Or what about our cars? They're already covered in LEDs. Their headlights and taillights could be talking to each other, sharing real-time info about speed, if someone's braking hard, or if there's ice on the road. It could create a much, much safer transportation system. Now let's go somewhere radio waves absolutely hate. Underwater. Radio signals die almost instantly in water, but light can travel a lot further. This could mean high-speed data for underwater robots, for scientific tools on the seafloor, or even for divers to communicate. And think about hospitals. Wi-Fi can actually interfere with super-sensitive medical gear. But since VLC is just light, there's zero risk of electromagnetic interference. That makes it the perfect way to get safe, fast internet in operating rooms or near MRI machines. Okay, so if this is all so amazing, you're probably wondering, why isn't every light bulb in my house beaming internet to me right now? Well, that's a great question, and it's because there are a couple of pretty big hurdles the technology still needs to get over. The number one challenge is what they call the uplink problem. See, getting data down is the easy part. You've got a big, powerful light in the ceiling beaming the signal to your phone. But how does your phone talk back? You can't just stick a bright, flashing light on your device. It would be super distracting and kill your battery in minutes. So, to get around this, engineers are working on some pretty clever solutions. One idea is to use an invisible infrared beam to send data back up. Another, and this is really interesting, is a hybrid approach. Use light for that super fast download, but use a tiny, low-power radio signal, kind of like Wi-Fi, just for the upload. The second big hurdle is the whole line of sight thing. If anything gets between the light and the receiver, like putting your phone in your pocket or even just walking into a shadow, the signal's gone. Now, reflections off walls can help a bit, but it's still a major challenge for making it reliable and letting you move around freely. So, when you look at these challenges, what's the real future here? Well, the answer probably isn't about replacing what we have, but about teamwork. Yeah, the big takeaway here is that VLC is not going to be a Wi-Fi killer. It's not one versus the other. Instead, they're going to be powerful partners. Imagine your phone just seamlessly switching between Wi-Fi and Li-Fi, always picking the best possible connection for whatever you're doing. And this really points to a hybrid future being the most likely path. VLC is going to boost our existing radio networks, giving us huge amounts of bandwidth right where we need it most, in crowded offices, in our living rooms, while good old Wi-Fi handles the stuff like mobility and connecting you when you don't have a clear path to a light. And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating thought. We've always thought of a router as this little box we plug in somewhere, but with this technology, our wireless access points could become totally invisible, totally integrated into our homes, and as common as the lights right above our heads. So really, the question isn't if light will carry our data, but just how soon it's going to be lighting up our digital world.